Dawson Rider Wiki.
Hey YouTube, Dawson Rider here. This is going to be a quick, unique little retro review for the male version of the Lost Galaxy Yellow figure, or the Yellow Ranger from Gingaman. As if you didn't know, in Gingaman, Yellow was actually a guy. And this is interesting for a couple reasons, because Bokensha! Back in the day, when they had a scrawnier male ranger, they would make it a female here in Japan. Or here in Japan. This is Japan the whole time? No, but here in America. And so that's what we did with Yellow. But it was a male in Japan, and I find it interesting that we have this figure here, which, if you can also tell, is very clearly basically the same type of design as our US Lost Galaxy figures. You can tell by the overly muscular stature of it. So I just find it funny that they're like, okay, Yellow's a little bit more skinny, we can easily make this a girl here in the US, but the figure is very clearly a guy, and I think it's kind of neat that we both had like the same molds, and I have like a great deal of nostalgia for the Lost Galaxy figures for some reason. But so yeah, it's the same basic mold as our Lost Galaxy figures with a muscular look. The head's a little bit out of scale with it, because like the chest area is so big, like this is redonkulous, that the head looks too extra small. So you have all that going on. You did get some decent articulation here, and the swiveling here, decent leg articulation, knee joint here. Unfortunately, there's very loose legs on this one, but it's kind of an old figure, so it makes sense. You do get the head articulation and neck at the same time, so it turns the whole thing. But I don't know why, but getting the Lost Galaxy figures is really nostalgic for me, so this is almost nostalgic. But it's, if you're not into like the muscly figures, this isn't going to be for you. But I think the paint details are decent on it. The helmet sculpt for this on either of them never did that great of a job of representing it in the show, in my opinion. It's always kind of weird. Like, it's not like terrible or anything, it gets all the main details, just the proportions are kind of off from the show for me. But this set also includes the Lights of Orion armor, which is pretty cool, and so that's really easy to put on. I have a little box over here, so we'll be slowly putting those on. So you have the golden cuffs here, like this, and this is how the figures came out there. They had all of them in their Lights of Orion armor, but you know, you get the regular figure before you put that on. But I only wanted to get gold, I'm thinking gold. I love gold! I only wanted to get this because I thought it was neat to have a representation for Gingaman and the male option for the figure, which I thought was just a cool opportunity to get, because they didn't necessarily do this all the time. But it's also definitely interesting to see all the cases where we actually did use the same mold. So these just snap on, and there's also a little peg there so you can a little peg there so you can extra attach it on so it doesn't fall off, and then right as I say that, it starts to fall off. Alright, then you have the armband up here, and you have the buckle piece, which is really funny because it looks like there's nothing to put the buckle on, but it kind of protrudes out a little bit, and it actually does just snap on there. Like ordinarily, you would expect it to have little pegs sticking off of it, or have like a removable piece so you could replace it, but it just kind of works like that. And then you do have the claw rustling package noises, and that just fits in there like a normal weapon, especially if this air where you have a little peg in the hand, so it just snaps in there like that. You don't have to snap it on the arm or anything. So yeah, that's neat, and in case you were wondering, it does include the Quasar Saber. It includes the powered up version in this chromy looking, that sounds like a pun on crummy and chromy, and that kind of works, because I'm going to be honest, chrome can be very hit and miss for me. Sometimes I think it accentuates things, sometimes I think it looks cheap. This kind of looks like a cool special edition, but just as the sole item of this, I'm not a fan, to be honest. I think it looks a little too gaudy, but that's just me. I kind of wish it included one regular one. And then it does include the cannon as a cool bonus as well, which also has some chrome pieces. But it's like a neat inclusion to have that, and it kind of rounds out the set. So that's kind of a nice bonus. But there is the main figure in its Lights of Orion mode as we know it, which I think is cool. You know, it's obviously a fun type of thing to be able to put it together. But since this is kind of based on an old system and it's kind of an old figure, you always have these little pieces sliding off and stuff. So to be honest, I kind of wish I would just have two figures where it's just the regular person and then the Lights of Orion figure with everything already attached and not falling off. But still, it's neat, and I like that I get both modes out of this. And this is kind of a cool bonus, even if it looks like a little bit gaudy and I wish there was a regular one. But yeah, this is a neat figure that I'm glad I own. Again, if you're not into the muscly figures, this isn't going to be for you. But the idea that I can essentially get the alternate Gingaman male figure in our US style is a really neat thing to add to my niche retro collection. So I actually really like having that, and if you're into that type of stuff like me, I can definitely recommend checking it out, because it is basically like 98% the same as our figures, except it does not have the electronics. If you remember, ours have those electronic voice features where you press the button and they have voice acting from in space. I still kind of wish they had kept that going and just been one season behind in the voices, so the Lightspeed figures had Lost Galaxy figures, voices, and so forth. But anyway, that's about it for this one, guys. Until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps and ring that bell so you can get notifications from my videos. Dawson Rider, signing out.